program is sponsored by Zakat Kenya. Zakat Kenya, fulfilling an obligation.
Every day, thousands struggle to afford food, education, and basic healthcare. But together, we can change lives through zakat. Through your zakat and sadaqah, we educate children, empower individuals, support businesses, fund healthcare, and provide relief for the most vulnerable in our community. Last year, we helped many, but there's still more to do. With your support, we can reach even more people in need. Your zakat is their hope. Donate today and be the reason someone smiles tomorrow. Zakat Kenya, fulfilling an obligation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to the show, The Spirit of Ramadan. I'm Sheikh Hassan Makoha from Zakat Kenya, from the Department of Education, famously known as the Zakatologist or the Zakat Attack Specialist. The month of Ramadan is almost coming to an end. We are at the home stretch. Still, ask yourself this question: what have you benefited from these past days? Ramadan coming to an end, it has given you a training so that you can continue performing the acts of ibadah even after Ramadan. Now, we are in this forgotten pillar, the pillar of Zakah. And Alhamdulillah, through Jamia TV, we have been able to go through this pillar in details, from the meaning from the introduction to the importance, to the dangers of not paying Zakah. And in our last episode, we talked about Zakat given to the refugees or the displaced people. You know, as the main objective of Zakah being to sustain lives, to sustain the living standards. Now, when someone has started his life, then after some time, there is war, or there is drought, or there is a flood, or there is fire. This person becomes displaced. And famously, we call them the IDPs, the internally displaced people, due to some certain reasons. So, are the refugees or the displaced people entitled to Zakah? Yes, they are entitled to Zakah, not as refugees and not as displaced people, as al-Fuqara and al-Masakin, or al-Fuqara or al-Masakin. So, why are they given Zakah? They are given Zakah for immediate relief. They need food, they need shelter, they need other necessities. So, Zakat comes in to give them the immediate relief. Also, Zakat is given to them to sustain their lives. Now, they have already been displaced. They have already been given the immediate the immediate needs. Now, the life has to go on. Life has to move on. So they will be given grants to start small businesses so that they can sustain themselves. Maybe they have skills. They have skills in business, or they have skills in catering, or they have skills in bakery, or in selling juice and whatever. They will be given the startup capital for these businesses. Also, they will be given Zakat through vocational training so that they can become self-reliant. Maybe because they want to sustain themselves, they want to become self-reliant. They are given Zakat through sponsorship to vocational trainings like a plumber or a carpenter or a masonry and other fields that are related. Also, they are given Zakat to run their businesses. We have the starting capital and we have the running capital. So this is how Zakat comes in to help the refugees and the internally displaced people. Now, what is to the institutions? The institutions now are supposed to collaborate so that we can avoid duplication. When there is a drought, there is a fire, there is flood, or there is war, people become displaced. Now, organizations come in to assist. Now, these organizations should collaborate to avoid duplication, and also there should be a thorough verification, because some people may take the advantage and they may come in to claim that they are displaced and yet they are not displaced. So there must be thorough verification to get the most vulnerable or the most needy cases, because that one is what's supposed to be started with. And also there should be follow-up on how are they faring on, how are they moving on after being given the zakat during the immediate relief, and also as grants, and also as sponsorship through the business fund, not the education fund. So now today we are going to look at zakat in the global sector. Why do you look at zakat in the global sector? Because Islam is a global ummah. Islam is not sidelined to a certain region or to a certain country or to a certain village. Islam is worldwide. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ بِمَعنى Islam is worldwide. Now, this zakat is also being collected by other countries. So, what are the successful stories? How are they doing their zakat collection? First, let us just have a brief history during the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time. During the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time, zakat was being collected by him. He used to send zakat collectors to various places, and it was first collected when he was in Medina after his migration, 1.5 years, that around 18 months, and it was first collected on 1st Muharram. Now, the zakat at that time, there was a central place, which was Baitul Mal, being collected by the collectors. Now it comes to Baitul Mal, and thereby it is given, or it is then distributed. After that, it came the Caliphate era, the era of Abu Bakr, Omar, Uthman, Ali radiallahu anhum. So they also collected zakah. And there is this story of Omar ibn Khattab, when he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen. He also made Mu'adh ibn Jabal to be a governor of Yemen. And in the first year, Mu'adh came with some of the collected zakah. Omar became very furious. I did not send you to be a tax collector. I sent you to collect zakat from the rich and then give to the poor. He said, I did so, but this is what remained. You see, now having that central collection, there came a balance. Then the following year, he returned the whole zakat collected. Why? Now, because people are now they are now able to sustain themselves. They are now able to live by their own. Now it was now transferred from Yemen now back to Medina. What does it show? It shows that zakat is collected internally, and from that region where it has been collected, it's given back to them. And if there is more, it can now be transferred to another area or to another region. Now, when you come to the 7th century, the era of Omar ibn Abdulaziz, his time also, there was zakat collection at the central place, and now it was people could go to the market, people could knock other people's doors asking, do you want zakat? So it shows that when zakat is collected, we have transparency in collection, and then we have professionalism in the distribution, professionalism in the management, and then we have a target distribution. Zakat can reduce, or it can eradicate poverty. And now we have seen from the Prophet's era to the Caliphate era the Umayyad dynasty. Now we come to today's examples. In today's examples, there are different examples, like in Malaysia and in Indonesia. Zakat is collected by a central place, and then it's used to support education. It's used to support the microfinance. So it's a form of grants. Also, when you look at the other countries like Pakistan, also zakat is collected with a central body, and then the impact is that it's used in the social health care and the social welfare of the Muslims. When you go to Sudan, and also zakat is collected at a central place and then given out. So these are the examples of the past generation and also the current time. How is zakat and what is the impact? What does it show? It shows that when zakat is collected in a transparent way, whereby we know the income, we know the expenditure, we have transparency in the record keeping, zakat can make a difference. Also, when we have professionalism in the management, also it will make a very good impact. This transparency, it creates credibility. Now it also creates trust. People will come, will trust you, or will trust the organization, because the records are transparent, from the income to the expenditure, and even giving feedback, like this the zakat collected. We have empowered such a people that time. We have educated such a people, or such a certain number, or we have taken care of the medical sector. We have paid bills for certain patient. So when we have that transparency in the collection, also when you have professionalism, and when you have a targeted audience, where are you channeling your zakah? What is your target? And we, as in Zakat Kenya, our target is al-fukara wal masakin. And if we get more funds, now we can be able to cater for the other or the remaining categories of zakat. So, or of the remaining categories of zakat recipients. So this is how zakat can make a change. This is how zakat can make a difference. Remember, I ask you this question: are we giving out zakat to survive, or are we giving zakat to transform lives? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Keep watching Jamia TV for more information about zakah and how can your zakah make a difference. Shukran.
This program is sponsored by Zakat Kenya. Zakat Kenya, fulfilling an obligation.
Every day, thousands struggle to afford food, education, and basic healthcare. But together, we can change lives through zakat. Through your zakat and sadaqah, we educate children, empower individuals, support businesses, fund healthcare, and provide relief for the most vulnerable in our community. Last year, we helped many, but there's still more to do. With your support, we can reach even more people in need. Your zakat is their hope. Donate today and be the reason someone smiles tomorrow. Zakat Kenya, fulfilling an obligation.